Travelers are increasingly looking towards lesser-known destinations for their next travel experience, and we've got the numbers to prove it. Welcome to MojoTravels, and today we're counting down the top 10 cool trending 2020 destinations according to Airbnb. Are you a fan of our videos? Be sure to subscribe to MojoTravels and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at cities and countries that, despite not typically appearing at the top of travel bucket lists, have experienced a notable increase in Airbnb bookings for 2020, and which you may want to consider for your next trip. Number 10, Vanuatu. An island nation in the South Pacific, Vanuatu is your quintessential tropical paradise, but it's also so much more. Part of what makes Vanuatu so compelling is its location. The closest major landmass is Australia, which is over 1,000 miles away, and its more immediate neighbors, New Caledonia and Fiji, are roughly 340 miles away, making Vanuatu relatively isolated. Translation, it often feels like you've got the place to yourself, and on beaches this beautiful, that's a rare feeling indeed. This archipelago, which consists of over 80 islands, is known to have world-class diving, rich cultural history, extremely friendly locals, breathtaking natural beauty, and endless opportunities for adventure. And given the 140% growth reported by Airbnb, people are finally catching on, so you better move fast. Number 9, Ubatuba, Brazil. Since we're already on the subject of beautiful beaches, now feels like an appropriate time to talk about this Brazilian gem. Located on the country's southeast coast, Ubatuba is a city that has long been popular with domestic travelers, but 2020 shows a notable uptick in bookings. Ubatuba is the official surf capital of São Paulo state, often hosting over 10 major competitions each year. But even for those who have yet to discover their love for catching waves, Ubatuba has so much else to offer, with many dozens of beaches, Serra do Mar National Park, and an abundance of fresh, delectable local seafood. Number 8, Luxembourg. For some travelers, the word Luxembourg brings to mind the palace, gardens, and museum in Paris. But with a 167% year-over-year growth heading into 2020, however, Luxembourg, the actual nation, is officially making itself known on the travel map. Quite frankly, it's long overdue. Nestled in the heart of Western Europe and bordered by France, it's a sort of cultural blend of all three. What sets it apart, however, is its fairy tale atmosphere. A land of castles, dense forest, and delightful architecture, Luxembourg is rich in art and history, and thanks to its small size, you can really do this nation justice in a single visit, though we do strongly suspect that you'll want to go back for seconds. Number 7, Guadalajara, Mexico. 2020 is looking like a landmark year for Mexico's second most populated city, Guadalajara, with an expected 158% growth in bookings for 2020. We can only assume that travelers around the globe are getting wise to the city's many selling points. Guadalajara's culinary offerings mostly eschew high-end trendiness and remain more traditional and unpretentious, and utterly delicious. Given that Guadalajara has a fraction of Mexico City's population, it's also notably more slow-paced and less crowded. Add to that a lower cost of living, great museums like the Instituto Cultural Cabanas, and solid nightlife, and you've got the makings of a fantastic trip. Number 6, Le Contamine Montjoie, France. The Mont Blanc region of France is a winter paradise, boasting some of the most picturesque powdery slopes a skier could ask for. For the longest time, the historic Chamonix Mont Blanc resort has overshadowed all others. For something different in 2020, however, we highly recommend Le Contamine Montjoie to the southwest. A beautiful little village nestled amidst the French Alps at the very heart of the region, Le Contamine Montjoie makes up for its more modest-sized and infrastructure with charm. Though smaller than Chamonix, its trails and backcountry are more than enough to keep you entertained for multiple trips. Best of all, even with increased attention, the lack of crowds makes it feel like a secret retreat. Number 5, Xian China. Xian is one of the oldest cities in China, but 2020 sees it being born anew as one of the country's top destinations. Airbnb has reported a staggering 255% increase in bookings. But honestly, we're less surprised with the increase in tourism and more confused as to why it's taken travelers so long to flock here. Xian boasts an incredible number of museums and historic sites, but most notable among them is the Terracotta Army Museum, which is home to the famous soldier sculptures of Qin Shi Huang. With a rich history typically comes a well-developed local cuisine, and Xian does not disappoint in this regard either. As if Xian proper doesn't have enough to offer, it's also a great home base for exploring Huashan, one of China's 5 great mountains. Number 4, Romania. Romania is relatively off the traditional traveler's radar, and that makes it feel wonderfully authentic, and not yet radically changed by waves of tourism. It welcomes approximately 2 million international visitors each year, but with a 298% increase in bookings for 2020, we're recommending that you make a trip sooner rather than later. Romania's appeal lies in its careful balance of pristine wilderness and beautiful, culturally rich cities and towns like its capital, Bucharest. It's been called Europe's most geographically diverse nation, meaning that outdoor enthusiasts will never grow tired of exploring the varied countryside. When you venture into town, you'll be greeted with a colorful history, unique architecture, hearty local cuisine, and a people who are proud of their culture. Number 3. Buriram, Thailand. You think that Romania's increase in bookings is impressive? Then brace yourself for Buriram, where the year-over-year booking increase from 2019 to 2020 is 383%. No, Buriram hasn't suddenly become the world's single hottest destination overnight. What it has done, however, is transform itself into a must-visit for motorsport enthusiasts thanks to the opening of the Chang International Circuit in 2014, especially since signing a contract to host MotoGP in the form of the PTT Thailand Grand Prix. Of course, Buriram, both the town and province, has more to offer than just motorcycle racing. Buriram means City of Happiness, and it lives up to that name with historic ruins, the most famous being Phanom Rung. The province also boasts great local cuisine, some seriously cool markets, and plenty of unique shopping opportunities. Number 2. Aberdeen, Scotland. One of the factors that Airbnb identified with their trending destinations for 2020 is that in addition to more off-the-beaten-path type cities and countries, travelers seem to be gravitating towards environmentally responsible destinations. Aberdeen fits squarely into this category. Located on the country's northeastern coast, Aberdeen is Scotland's third largest city and is considered to be a leader in sustainability efforts. When you look at the surrounding landscape, you can understand why they're so motivated to protect the environment. The city itself is home to some stunning gardens and green spaces, charming architecture, as well as a strong culinary and bar scene. The greater area of Aberdeenshire boasts a coastline rich in marine life, rolling green hills, beaches made all the more unique by relics of World War II, and historic sites like Dunatar Castle and St. Mary's Kirk at Auchendore. Number 1. Bilbao, Spain. Last but most certainly not least, we come to this Spanish gem. The largest city in Basque Country, it feels quite culturally separate from the rest of Spain due to the distinct identity and traditions of the Basque people. From the Pinchos bars and fresh seafood to Basque folk dance and the world-famous architecture, you'll quickly find yourself utterly enchanted by this one-of-a-kind city. If you're a lover of art, be sure to check out the Museo Guggenheim, which is not only a superb contemporary and modern art museum, but an architectural marvel in its own right. All things considered, we're not surprised that Bilbao has experienced a 402% in Airbnb bookings. Of course, it also doesn't hurt that it's one of the host cities for the 2020 European Football Championship. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MojoTravels and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.